This is Hannibal here from the HannibalTV.com with a daily wrestling news update. Let's start it off by congratulating Ryan Moonshine Mantell, who made his AEW debut last night. He was defeated by Lance Archer in 3 minutes and 9 seconds. I hope you get a contract. You've been at it for a while now. Now, in some more interesting news, it has been reported by MMA Junkie that CM Punk's UFC 255 loss to Mike Jackson was quietly changed to a no contest due to Jackson testing positive for marijuana. Not that marijuana could really help you in a fight, in my opinion. The only benefit we can have in relates to fighting would be to potentially make you more relaxed. I know I would often, in my bouncing days, suck on some THC lozenges while I was working because you can deal with idiots a lot better when you're high. So Jackson's record is now 0-1-0, and Jackson's record was 0-1-0, and CM Punk's record is 0-1-1. So Mike Jackson never fought again after that match that he had with CM Punk, and Dana White was quoted as saying if he'd known how bad that fight was going to be, he wouldn't have even put it on UFC Fight Pass, which is their streaming service. In XFL news, which is planning to relaunch in 2023 with The Rock and his ex-wife owning it, there had been discussions of the XFL collaborating with the CFL. However, the CFL put out a statement today basically confirming that that's not happening at this time. They said, quote, "Our talks with the XFL exploring the potential of a collaboration and innovation have been positive and constructive. While we remain open to finding new ways to work together in the future, we and our XFL counterparts have jointly decided to not pursue any formal arrangements at this time," end quote. The CFL is fairly boring in my opinion, so that would have been interesting if it had happened. Tommy Dreamer, who we all know is good friends with Terry Funk, posted an update on Terry Funk's health after, I believe, Don Morocco and others had been making it seem like Terry Funk's health is worse than it is. Dreamer said, quote, "Everyone needs to relax. I just got off the phone with Terry Funk. He is not in bad health. He loves everyone talking about him." Direct quote from the Funker: "Currently sitting in an assisted living place with my thumbs up my ass, whistling Dixie, but I don't remember the words. Forever ECW," end quote. So Terry Funk is in an assisted living home. However, his health is not as bad as people made it out to be, which I suspected to probably be the case because wrestlers are known to exaggerate. Stevie says Punk needs to forget about UFC. He's not as tough as he thinks he is. The only person I ever heard of CM Punk getting the better of was, I guess, him and Kevin Owens had a confrontation in Ring of Honor, which Kevin Owens backed down from, just as Owens backed down from a confrontation with Jeremy Prophet on the Quebec independent wrestling scene. Never heard of Owens being in a real fight in his life. CM Punk gets his ass kicked every time he fights, but at least he's actually not afraid to fight. Jonathan says, WTF decision change. Well, I guess it was just never publicized until today. Steven says 420 time. Cannabis Ritual says he can't really see how weed would affect the fight in any grand way. Personally, the only workout I can do well while under the effects of weed is swim. Running, it doesn't help me. Weightlifting, it does not help me at all. Hence why I never have it before working out unless I am swimming. Michael Collins, I'll be honest, I'm in the wrestling/combat sports bubble. Other than UFO news, I don't really follow any news. I live in a bubble. Bill, to what extent will Jerry Jarrett be working with world-class pro wrestling? I do not know. All I know is that he's been in discussions with the management of that company. But that's literally all I know. More will be revealed as it comes closer to the relaunch. There is one piece of news regarding the relaunch that I can say is that the first match of the relaunch is going to be October 3rd in Wichita, Kansas. There was going to be one September 19th in San Antonio that was going to be a collaboration with another company. However, the decision has been made to not do that one, and October 3rd in Wichita is going to be the first world-class pro wrestling relaunch event, from what I understand. Tommy from the Bronx tips me $20. Says hope all is well. Great job. Keep up the good work. Really appreciate it, Tommy. Every penny counts. Before I forget, Brick Bronski, who wrestled in the Charlotte territory, had some WWE matches, and was in numerous movies, including a Jean-Claude Van Damme film. He did an interview with me today, which was over 3 hours long, and we didn't even get to half the topics I wanted to discuss because his answers were detailed, and it seemed like it may have been the most sidetracked questions of any interview I've ever done. And I still liked the interview. I found him very entertaining, and we are going to have him back 100%. He is the star of the Masked Mutilator independent film and was the star of a bunch of films in the 80s and 90s, including Nukem High, Part 2 and 3, and I think he was also in the 2003 class of Nukem High as well. We didn't even get a chance to put up half of these movie pictures from Brick. There's one of his wrestling pictures. If you ask me, he could have been a big star in wrestling, but he chose to go the Hollywood route. There he is with Stu Hart. There's some good Stu Hart stories and Hart family stories. I'm in that. Mark thinks I'm following in Brody's footsteps. Don't know about that, but I am looking forward to attending the Bruiser Brody Cup event coming up November 5th and 6th in Carthage, Texas, at the Carthage Civic Center, which is going to be a great event. Craig says Aleister Black went to AEW. I guess he must have debuted tonight, maybe. I've never seen Aleister Black wrestle. So it seems like they went from saying they wouldn't take WWE rejects to taking almost all WWE rejects. So they also said they were going to go back to classic wrestling. They didn't. So they lost me. But good for him if he's getting another payday after WWE. So that's all the news for today. Hope everyone has a great night. We do stream all of these, by the way, on our The Hannibal TV Facebook page And then we also stream them on our Twitch channel at Great North Wrestling. Mark filling us in on what happened with Aleister Black. He attacked Cody, but didn't wrestle because his no-compete clause hasn't expired yet. I don't know if appearing on a show would be violation of that or not, but I'm no contract expert. Couple more questions. Michael Collins says AEW taking casts off from the WWE did not work out long-term for WCW or TNA. It's funny because now WWE has a lot of TNA's old stars like AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, Jeff Jarrett, and Abyss are producers there. Jeremy Borash is a producer there. So it's like, it seems like WWE is now like they've recruited so many people from the Vince Russo era of TNA. So Sun Smooth said that Aleister Black only had a 30-day no-compete clause, which would make sense. Which would fully make sense. For the guy saying he's late to the stream, what happened with the CM Punk thing? His second fight was ruled a no contest because the guy had THC in his system. For more details, go back to the start of this. Joey wishes Hulk Hogan could do one more match. It's the anniversary of Hulk Hogan turning heel, by the way, which I should touch on today. It was the famous Bash at the Beach where Hogan became a member of the NWO, which was a Kevin Sullivan idea, who coincidentally I did talk to today. And he's going to be involved in the PCW Ultra relaunch taking place this fall. Speaking of relaunches, but I did see on Hulk Hogan's social media that someone shared that he was saying that they got real heel heat. They did get people throwing stuff in the ring and stuff, but I remember when I saw it, and I know a lot of other people felt this way, we were so sick of the red and yellow Hulk Hogan, and the whole Hulk Hogan goody two-shoes era was over, and Nash and Hall were so cool that I personally thought it was cool when Hogan turned heel, and that's my favorite version of Hulk Hogan. I was never a fan of the red and yellow Hulk Hogan. My favorites growing up were Macho Man, Undertaker, and Ric Flair. So to say that it was like red hot heel heat, some people felt that way, but a lot of others were like, oh, thank God this take your prayers, say your vitamins crap is over. Willie, CM Punk versus Paul Logan. I think it's Logan Paul. I believe one of the Paul brothers actually challenged CM Punk and he refused the fight, from what I recall. Jason says the video of me smacking Funk. You know what? We didn't end up battling. He was the guest referee for me versus Nash the next night that we had over 3,000 fans for. And he actually allowed Nash to give me a low blow in the match, which was not an ODQ match. And then he put me through a table, which is clearly grounds for disqualification. So as far as I'm concerned, I beat Nash due to the disqualification that night, and it was poor officiating on Terry Funk's part. So you could say that Terry Funk got his revenge in a way because he allowed blatant cheating in my match with Nash. But that whole thing leaves a sour taste in my mouth.
Thank you for watching the Hannibal TV. Please like this video if you enjoyed it and click the subscribe button to not miss any of our latest shoot interviews, match videos, or news updates. Support us on patreon.com for $1.99 a month to watch our full shoot interviews ad-free and help our channel grow. Follow us on Twitter at the